Welcome. This is a podcast called Men versus Ego, and my friend Isaac and I, which I'm gonna let him introduce himself. We we're both from different parts of life.
My name is Isaac Arteaga, and I also am a good friend of Bobby, and I live in the downtown Chicago area. I'm really glad that me and Bobby together are gonna be hosting Men versus Ego and make it.
I'm in the military. I joined right out of high school. I already knew what I wanted to do, and I've been in the military for 13 years, 7 more years, and I retire. I can't ask for a better place in my life right now. I've been all over the world. I've seen a lot of cool things. I met a lot of great people. This is just one of those milestones where I was lucky enough to meet Isaac back when I used to live in Chicago myself. I reside in Texas now. It's pretty hot down here. It's like 100 and some degrees. So, and I'm kind of jealous of Isaac right now. He's living the life in the nice 70s, upper 60s. That's a little bit of who I am. You know, I'll pass it over to my friend Isaac to let him say about him.
Sure. Well, Bobby, again, thank you, for helping start Men versus Ego. I feel really special, and I also feel a bond with you, especially because we both have the same pursuit of, talking about the issues that we face day to day, and then how we can improve. A little bit about myself. My name is Isaac. I came to the U.S. A little bit before turning 10 years old. I came to the U.S. illegally and didn't speak a word of English. So, when I arrived to the U.S., I lived with my dad and my mom for a couple months, and they immediately separated um, once we made it here to the U.S. So that was a bummer because they work really hard to come here to the U.S. and then as soon as they came to the U.S. they separated. So that brought us to Chicago. After my parents separated, that brought us from to Chicago. I've never left. I've never left Chicago ever since. I've always resided in Chicago. And from from that since I've been in the U.S., I've always struggled with money. Because obviously I didn't have a dad that could provide for us, so my mom was the always the provider, and basically I had to find, I learned to always work and go out there and do something to earn income. So ever since I was 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, I've always had to like work and make some extra money, and that's what I've been doing ever since. That brought me to start a small business and 2 years ago, and now I'm the owner of a small cleaning business. It's doing very well. We're growing and we're getting a lot of customers, and so that has allowed me to be successful. I also started a family. I am the proud father of a 6-year-old daughter. Unfortunately, we separated, and that's also something that I will talk about a little bit more. But there's a lot of mistakes that I made, and I definitely want to talk about that so that anyone out there in a relationship can see the mistakes that I did, and hopefully you don't make the same mistakes I made. But yeah, basically that's a little bit about who I am. Again, I live in Chicago, and definitely am excited to be part of this podcast. So I would probably start with a few things. Life struggles for me have always been money. I was born poor. I grew up poor. Um, and so my family has never, been wealthy in that regard. I think wealth can be several things, which could be family, the friends around you that you surround yourself, and then also your income. So for this instance, I will be talking about, like the wealth of income. But yeah, we've always grown up poor. That's the reason that we left Mexico. We were so poor. I remember we used to live in a house made of like thin material, so it wasn't even made out of bricks or nothing. It was made out of like some sort of plastic around us, and then the top was also made out of a plastic. So we were so poor we didn't really own like a home like people can say where there's like a bathroom, there's like a full kitchen, stuff like that. It was I remember like our floor was made out of dirt, so that's how much poor we were. And so that's something that we've always struggled. Even when we came to the US, we were still very poor, by US standards, which is, we live in an attic, and then we also live in a basement, which those are the places where nobody really wants to live. The attic, because there's no insulation, so it gets very hot during the summers or very cold during the winters. And then the basements, because there's no sunlight. um, so that's how I've always grown up. So I would consider that a struggle. However, it made me a person that taught me to persevere, and to it gave me a purpose, which was to better myself. So I've always been told that I was the man of the family, because my dad left. So it always made me be more courageous, and it made me be um, you know, it made me be not afraid to go out and do things that, even if people would make fun of me or not, it just gave me the courage to do those things, to get out and find a way to make a little bit of extra money. So, I remember that I would sell water and Gatorades on the soccer fields or on the streets. I would also sell chocolates as a 12, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15-year-old. I would get a box of chocolates and then sell chocolates. I would sell gas at the gas station, me and my sister, both of us together. And then anytime there was a summer job available, I would take it. Basically, I would get a fake ID, a fake social, and a fake driver's license or state ID. And then that's how I was able to get into a job, for an adult, even though I was a minor at the time. So, I've always, our family has always struggled with money. And so anytime there was an opportunity for me to work, I always took it. And I think that's something that, again, it's been a struggle, but it really made me a different person, because it allowed me to never stay still. It taught me to always find, a way to make a little bit of extra income. And so that brought me to where I am now. Obviously, there's still a lot of success and a lot of more steps to go, but I don't necessarily value money as much as I used to before. Now I really do value the people around me, but I can concur and I can attest that you won't find opportunities if you don't work and make that money on the side help you find to help you make those opportunities. So yeah, that's one of my life struggles. There's plenty more, but that would be one small one. And for you, Bobby, any small or any life struggle that you want to share with us?
Yeah, this is just one of our first podcasts of many, man. So I'm sure we'll share all our life struggles as we go on.
Hmm.
Uh, I guess we all have different life struggles, man. Some more difficult than others. I can see why you're so humble, and why you appreciate high value friends. And
Yes.
I thank you for considering me a high value friend, man. Um, my
Thank you,
life
bro.
struggle, of course, of course. My life struggle wasn't money. It wasn't anything I materialistic or anything like that. My life struggle was a past relationship that I had. And I know it sounds cliche because everybody goes through the relationship drama and everything. But for some reason, this person in my past, which I am so thankful, she taught me a lot. Um, it was I was mid in my career in the military. Um, and I met a person. Obviously, we were together for 2 years or so, and yeah, I guess you can say it got toxic, but it wasn't the toxic that you see on TikTok or on YouTube or that you hear on music. It was a different type of toxicity. And what I mean by different type of toxicity, it was like a more like a awakening, like it was like looking myself in a mirror. So for the love of myself, like, and I'm a very resilient person, and the military has taught me to be the tennis ball, not the egg, to bounce back from any situation in my life. But I for some reason, I couldn't bounce back from this person. Like she would have a hold on me, right? And that's when I started getting to like spiritual and being more aware of my thoughts and why am I doing this? And I started hearing my thoughts and observing them instead of being my thoughts and observing them and acting on them. Sorry. And then that happened when I was in Chicago. So I'm very grateful for that struggle that I went through. It was at the time I thought it was like I was so devastated, man. But I'm glad I came out of that era in my life, and it made me into a more resilient, more conscious person. So I guess in retrospect, I'm so grateful for her. Like no animosity, no resentment, no hatred, no nothing like that. On the contrary, if she was here today, if I had seen her crossing down the street, I'd be like, "Hey, how you doing? Thank you so much for everything, and I appreciate it. I hope you're doing well." It's one of those type of things. Like she helped me tremendously, but
And
other than that, I had no really love struggles, man. I guess that was my life struggle.
question for you, Bobby. I know you said that's one of your life struggles, but was there a point of your during that relationship where you got really low to the point where you said or what made you realize that you shouldn't be at that point? You know, what's something that, you know, if you want to share, that brought you really low and almost embarrassing and ashamed that you said, what, this is not right. What made you realize that it wasn't right?
Oh, that's a deep question, man, and that deserves a deep answer. So
Hmm.
one day I was scrolling to YouTube. Um, I was still in the
Hmm.
midst of that hurt and that obsession and that pain and that just bad place. And then I was going to YouTube and I saw this guy. His name is Edgar Tolle, which I think I told you when I went to Chicago about his book called The Power of Now. And he was talking on there like some people aren't aware that they're stuck until they're aware. And he said something about thoughts and emotions and how we're not our thoughts and emotions. We're higher than that. And then I started listening to him and I got his book, which is one of my books up here.
Hmm.
Um, and then I started reading it. I'm like, oh my gosh, yeah, I understand it now. I understand why I'm not my obsession. I'm not my pain. I'm not my emotions. I'm not. This is just this is not me. So it kind of helped me out, like to get out of that bad place, man. So I guess you can call it coincidence.
Hmm. Okay.
But thank you for letting me share that. I guess the next one is, man, how do we define success? Since you went last time first, do you want to just go back and forth, or do you want me to go first on this one too?
I think yeah, I can go first on this one. You know, so again, going back to poverty for me, I grew up very poor with you know, never having anything of materialistic. Um, um, I grew up very poor, you know, so I've always, you know, I'm the type of person that wakes up and sees $5 in their bank account, you know, every single day. So that's how I grew up, poor, or even not even with a bank account, like nothing, poor, as as you can get. And I always thought that the definition of success was having a lot of money. That's how I've always thought about success. And so again, for as long as I can remember, I've always have always strived to accumulate wealth and money and money and money because that was the definition of success. But I would say last year is when I came to the realization that materialistic things um, are not the only definition of success. You know, I've always since I can remember, I've always wanted a very fancy watch and a very fancy car and a very fancy apartment. But I don't know how I came to that realization, but I realized that that wasn't the only thing that would make me successful. And so now I have a different definition. Obviously, uh, having wealth and you know, money is definitely can be part of that, but not necessarily. For me, the definition of success is building a strong and beautiful family. So you're asking me, I would say being married and having a, you know, a woman by my side that would like to you know, go through this entire life journey with me, and then creating a beautiful family that loves and respects each other. I would say that would be, to me, the most true definition of success. Um, in my own definition, and at the same time, you know, because we created a strong bond in a strong family, we also go and attain materialistic things, but that's just like extra. That's not the definition of success. That's just extra. Again, my definition of success is the family that we create, a strong family that goes out and pursues their dreams.
Wow. You know, it's crazy. It's like I'm hearing myself think through your talk.
Uh,
Exactly, man. I'm ditto. The same. The same. Um, I hope you don't mind me sharing a quote from the book.
yeah.
Yeah. There's a quote from the book, The Power of Now, that some people, and forgive me, people who know the book, if I'm butchering it, but Eckhart Tolle speaks about a parable, says to gain the world and lose your soul, or to gain your soul and lose the world. Basically, outer riches, inner poverty, or inner riches, outer poverty. And for me, I think inner riches is way, 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 way better than outer riches, because outer riches come and go, right? And inner riches, no one can take those away from you. It stays. It's permanent. Well, how do I define success? How do I define success?
Yes.
By making, okay, military, right? I like to make people around me better. There's always a saying that you don't want to be the smartest man or the smartest person in the room. You always want to be surrounded by people who are smarter than you, more athletic than you, on a different level than you. So why? So you can be there too eventually. It's like a stepping stone. Um, because if you're the smartest person in the room, get out of there. Get out of there. If you're not aware, get out of there. So I like making people around me better by giving them the tools to be better. And what does that mean? So for me, being in the military, I have soldiers. I have to take care of them, make sure they're good to go financially, emotionally, make sure their family, if they're married, they're good to go. Uh, Anything they need, any issues they have, I have to take care of that or push them in the right direction to take care of that. And I think it causes a domino effect. And I don't like to go off tangents or one thing to another, but a domino effect for me is like if I help one person out, now that person knows what to do. So if another person comes to him or her with the same thing, now he knows what to help her or him with. And it causes like a domino effect. So I guess you can say it's good karma, but I'm not looking for anything in return. I'm just looking to make people around me better. And that for me, it has nothing to do with monetary value, although that would be cool if it did, but that's not the end goal. The end goal is to make that person better, whether it be in his career, me being a mentor to him or her, or just growth, personal growth, personal growth and development. That's how I define success.
You said that success, what, to understand you better, success for you is becoming better and self-aware, but at the same time changing the people around you, right? Is that how you define it?
A hundred
For the
percent.
better?
100%.
Okay. Thank you.
Of course, man.
Thank you. And is there like anything materialistic or any money involved in your definition of success, or a family, or like a certain rank, because you're in the military, right? So if you were your rank, so is that also something that you define as success?
Yes and no. And one of my mentors that really touched me when I was a young soldier, he said, "Don't worry about your awards. Don't worry about your achievements. Worry about your soldiers." And um, there's some people that do worry about that. Like, I need to have this. I need to have that. I need to. I guess their ego's like, if they attain that, then no one can tell me nothing. But for me, it's like if I take care of my soldiers, if I know how to do this for them, if basically what he told me was worry how to take care of your people, and the rest will come at its own accord. The praises, the awards, the the honorable mentions, all that will come at its own time. But don't like just focus on, oh, I need to get this award, oh, I need to get promoted this way, oh, I need this. No, like time will show you what is more important. And for me, like that stuck to me, and now I see what he was trying to say to me at that point in time.
Okay.
But for you, man, like I consider myself rich having friends like you, like my other friends in Chicago. I got friends here in Texas that are just like I guess when you vibe with a person, that person's gonna do an impact on your life. Like, and it doesn't matter if that person's rich or material or wealthy or poor or not not doing the best financially, but you could tell, like, I guess by their character, their persona, like their vibe. I guess they're just their aura. You could tell, like, hey, this person's gonna be a good friend to me. I'm gonna keep them in my little circle of trust, if you will. You got anything, man? I know I've been talking a lot, so I want your input too, man.
Thank you, Bobby. Everything you brought up is something that it's pretty cool the way you think. You're saying that your definition of success is to make the people around you better, and I um, I think that's similar to, like, we both have a similar view, because again, it's like for me, it's building a family, and obviously all of us uh, s- uh, work towards the same goal, which is bettering our situation and our life. And I think yours is similar, because it's like you're saying making the people around you better, and obviously that counts your family and your friends. I would even say you consider your friends family. So basically everything around you, you're like a shining light, and everything around you is just brighter. So I'm really excited about that. I'm really excited to hear your definition. It's it really helps me get to know you a little bit better as a person. So yeah.
Oh, thank you, Isaac, man. And again, not to take away from your definition of success, I just didn't want to repeat the same thing because as you, I believe in the same thing as you. Now I do. back
Hmm.
then when I was maybe in my early 20s, I wasn't really thinking about that. But now I see what you mean by your definition of success. And I just wanted to give our viewers, I guess, my second definition of success. But if you hadn't said that, that would have been me saying the same things you were saying. On to the next question, or the next script
Yes,
question.
please.
What makes us successful now?
So, how do I define the success that I have now? Right now, there are many things in my life that I consider successful. So I'll detail them very quickly. What makes me successful now is that I've been able to start a small cleaning business that has been successful for the past 2 to 3 years. It's been a huge challenge, but it's running and it's moving. It's continuing to move forward every single day. So that would be one of the first definitions of success. It has allowed me. It has afforded me, luxuries. It's made me it's given me luxuries that I've never had before. And so that would be one of the definitions I have of success. The second definition that I have of success is freedom. Because I am the owner of this business, it has given me a lot of freedom. So it gives me the time to spend with my daughter. It and that is probably one of the biggest definitions of success now. Even though I am still I would say the word hustling. I'm still hustling and I'm working every single day. It gives me a lot of free time to really pursue the goals that I have. One of those is spending time with my daughter, which I love her so much, and it gives me the opportunity to spend a lot of time with her. Um, for example, this summer, I had her for the entire week, 1 week on, 1 week off, and so the entire week, I am able to take her to the playground, play with her, ride bikes, fly kites, and so that is a definition that I have of success now. Another definition of success I also have is, or not definition, another thing that makes me successful now is the people that I've been able to surround myself with. Um, I think there's a saying that like the five people closest to you is exactly who you are. And all the people that I have surrounded myself with, I didn't pick and choose. It's not like I went out there and said, "Hey, you're gonna be my friend," or "You're gonna be my friend." I just think we all attract each other. But I'm really confident in the people that are around me. Again, it's like I really do trust them and look at them in a higher view than myself. And I think that there's so much to learn from all of them. And so again, that's another thing that makes me successful now. Uh, and the last thing also that makes me very successful now is, that I love God, and I basically have turned my life around for Him. So I really think that my life goal now is to basically live for him and glorify him. So everything that I do on a day-to-day basis is basically pursues that. And I really think that's the biggest definition of success for me, because before I was looking out just for my own personal gain, my own myself and I don't live for that anymore. I really do live out there to praise and worship him with my day to day life and actions. And so that would be the biggest definition of success for me now.
Yeah, man. And to add to that, man, I know that we're both
Hmm.
dads. I have a daughter too, and I think that's one of the things that I can relate to you on your success. You know, when someone is more important than yourself, which is your daughter or your son, and you want them to be successful, to see them grow, to give them the right mindset to have, I can see why you say that's part of your success now. So I guess from a father to another father, I applaud you, man.
Thank you. Thank you. And I appreciate that. And, I think that's something that also brought us together.
Yeah, most definitely, man. When you started talking, when I used to live in Chicago with you, I remember seeing you guys walking down the street. I'm like, where you going? I'm going to church. Where you going? I'm going to the park. And then like, oh man, that's it made me miss my little one too. So I see what you did there, man, and it's good, man. So kudos to you, bro.
Oh, thank you. No, I appreciate it. Thank you. No, I would love to hear what makes you successful now. I don't know much about you, even though we're good friends, but I would love to hear that as well from you.
What makes me successful, man? What makes me successful? The fact that I don't have to depend on anybody. I guess that's one of my things for success. I'm very financially free. Uh, I can go anywhere I want without having to stressing. Let me see. Basically, my success is not listening to my thoughts anymore. Not letting my thoughts dictate if this day is going to be a bad day, or if I feel this way right now, it's going to put my day for the rest of my day bad, you know? And
Hmm.
I'm so aware of my thoughts that it's crazy. Or let's say, for example, especially in Chicago, man, you're walking down the street, you're gonna meet some angry people for whatever reason. Some people are running through the streets. You see some just people out of their minds telling you crazy stuff, like you're this and that and the third. Like I now know not to give my power away. Whatever that person is saying to me to make me feel a certain way, I'm not going to give my power away to that person to make me feel that certain way. Does that make sense? I guess that's my
Hmm.
definition of success. Um, because if I give my power away, I'm letting you dictate how you should make me feel, how I should be feeling right now, right? And that for me is success. And it all started back when I told you about my struggles, and that person came into my life and everything shook up the way I see things, the way I thought. So that for me is the definition of success, because
Yeah.
anybody can yell at you, man. Anybody can yell at you. Anybody can tell you this or that you're not this, that you're trash or whatever they want to tell you. And as long as you don't give that person the power, you're good, man. It's dirt off your shoulders, like, okay, all right. Because at the end of the day, in 100 years, we're all going to be somewhere else, right?
Hmm.
And whether you're wealthy or you're down here, I'm not so wealthy, you're gonna be somewhere else in 100 years. So it doesn't affect you. It shouldn't affect you. Um, that for me is success, man. Again, I'm not gonna talk about wealth or this because I'm very well off right now. I don't need any outside factors. I'm happy and content. As you know, I just came to visit you guys 2 weeks ago. I was over there. So for me, man, that for me is success. Getting out of your mind.
Thank you for sharing that, Bobby. No, I think that was well. If I can summarize what you said, is basically you're saying that the people around you, the bath, that you were able to take control of your mind. And I think there's a quote out there saying, or it's in Proverbs actually. I was listening to Proverbs, and he says that uh, it's better it's better that a man controls himself than an entire city. Like I think that's exactly what the proverb said. And so you know, it's very it's just imagine it's better that we control ourselves than an entire city. And so what you're talking about is what makes you successful now is that you are able to control yourselves, including your thoughts, which nobody knows other than you, and yet you've been able to take them captive and do as you wish with them. And that's powerful because many of us are led by our emotions, by our thoughts, and by how we think that other people perceive us, and that's how we act every single. That's how we go out and function every single day, versus really looking at the truth and moving forward. And so I applaud you for that, Bobby, taking a hold of all of your thoughts and really, really directing yourselves by what you know is right rather than by what your thoughts are telling you.
No, for sure, man. For sure. Um, nothing too spectacular like yours, but nonetheless, just as important. Man, I couldn't have said it better myself, man. It's and it's a daily process too. Don't think you do it one time and it's gonna be you're gonna be enlightened or a spiritual master or guru. No, no, no. It's like you have it continue. It's like a good um not metaphor, a symbology for it.
Exercise.
Yeah, a good symbology for it is like imagine yourself sweeping the dirt out of your house, right? Okay, it's clean for now, but give it a couple days, you coming in and out, in and out, in and out, it's gonna get dirty again. So what do you have to do? Sweep out again, right? So it's a constant sweeping of your mind. It's a constant being aware that you're aware. It's not like a one-time thing. It's practice, practice, practice. Where do you where do we see each other in the next 5 years?
The reason that the question is laid out like that, 5 years, is I was listening to a podcast, and he says that usually, we are only able to see so much far out in the future. You really can plan for the next year and 2 years. 5 years is a very, very broad perspective. And then 10 years, he says, there's no way that you can plan for 10 years from now or 20 years from now. So that's why we made that question like that. What do we see each other in 5 years? But for me, I would say that 5 years from now, I see myself married, with a growing family. That's one of the biggest dreams that I have, in my heart. I know it's a pure dream. There's nothing evil in it. I'm not looking for self gain in that. I'm looking to share all the success that I've accumulated and be able to share that with a family, with my family. So, I do see myself married. I see myself, with, a few more kids, around my lap, on my shoulders. So that I do see that for myself. And I know it's going to happen, not because I have a blind faith, but because I've taken the steps towards that. I also see myself, generating more revenue for the small business that I have now. Basically, what I've done is, continue to reduce expenses and overhead, and just continue to focus on making profit, and I share that profit with the people that work with me. And so I really see that that motivates them. I don't pay my people hourly; they earn a percentage. And so when work increases, that means that they also make more money. And so that I have seen has made the business successful, because they really do get more involved when we continue to get more work. And so again, if I'm continuing to make this business better, if I'm tweaking it the right way, if I am making it more efficient, I just see the business generating more revenue, and again affording me more luxuries. So that would be the second thing. And then the third thing is, like, really getting more involved in my church and my community. I don't have a lot of things that I do that waste time, every day, when I have very productive days. But I do see myself being more involved in my community, helping younger people or underserved people change their mentality, and really show them that they are capable of great things, as well as serving in my church. I really can see myself, being a useful instrument there. So those are the things. Those are the things that I see myself in the next 5 years. Um, yeah, so I think that's about it.
I where did you hear that? What podcast did you hear that from? And that you shouldn't aim 10 because it's not. it's uh, not that it's not obtainable, but
It's
it's
too
more
broad.
yeah, it's too broad. So five is, it's a good aim. It's a decent. It's achievable.
He even said 5 years is a lot. He says, but that should be the maximum that you can plan for. He says 1 or 2 years is about as much as you can really plan in the near future.
Who
And
is
that's
who is
Jordan Peterson.
Dr. JP?
Hmm.
Okay.
Hmm.
Yeah, that's another thing that we like, right? We both like Dr. Jordan Peterson.
Yes, good.
All right. Okay. For me, next 5 years, obviously, I still plan to be in service. Uh, there's no reason for me to get out now. I'm all in. Hopefully do my 20 years and put my retirement in and get out, and probably find another good government job somewhere out there with my pension already and everything I needed. Uh, but I still got 7 more, so that's still 2 more years other than five. But in my 5 years, I do plan to grow more mentally. Uh, Hopefully, finish out some schools I have to do for personal growth, personal development, and going back to your earlier, what's the definition of success? I do see myself getting married in between those 5 years, and having a stable family, a loving family, and hopefully a power couple. I guess help us, help me, help you, help me, help us, help all of us. I guess like a power couple, man. It's I know it's hard nowadays out there. I guess me and you both know, but yeah,
Hmm.
I do see myself getting married in the next 5 years, and like I said, finishing out some schools and cross my fingers with hopefully the next 2 years after that I can retire. I'm 38. I'll still be young, semi young, so I can't complain, man.
Okay. You have a beautiful, you have a beautiful plan, and I would love to be part of it. I would love to see you also grow, like you said, uh, and just see your life change for the better.
But likewise, man. Same to you. And I think another thing that brings us closer, why we're so
Hmm.
the same, is because we have a lot of like you're we're taking the same goal, or you're going this way and you're going right, I'm going left. But ultimately we're going to go to the same goal. And we have a lot of similarities, the way we think, the way we brought up. Um, and I admire you, man. I admire you because it's like seeing myself in another person going a different route and getting their goals met. So for me, it's like, dang, that's uh, that's rare. I guess you can say that it's rare because, oh, man, friends come and go, so-called friends. You don't hear from them anymore. But for us, it's like, man, I'm cool. I haven't seen you since 2 weeks ago, but before that, like, we weren't really like talking. But it's like when I got there, it's like, hey, how you been, man? It's like we never stopped. Why do we start the podcast?
Okay, because you're the one that came up with the idea. I think you got to do us the honors.
uh, Basically, I always wanted to start a podcast ever since I got into like Jordan Peterson, Dr. Jordan Peterson, and
Hmm.
like my spiritual side, my conscious side, if you want to call it. And then I don't know, man. I went up there with you to go see you guys to visit my friends and family, and I remember you taking me up to your rooftop and expressing um, our the way we think, and I'm like, well, maybe we should start a podcast. You're like, yeah, yeah, we should start a podcast. And at the time, I don't think we were serious about it, I guess, but we were. That makes sense. Like, we'll get it started when we get it started. It's no biggie. It's like, eh. But
Well,
then I'm like, you know what?
well,
Go
Bobby,
ahead.
what the thing, the thing that I think has made us good friends is that you've noticed that, we really do mean what we say. We really do mean. And obviously, you and I have friendships that are superficial, where we're just like, hey, man, it's nice seeing you, but like, and I think what has bonded you and I together is that we really do, um, like mean what we say. And so when you were like, hey, let's do a podcast, and then I told you the same thing, it's like, hey, I would be down to do that. You know, Even though it did sound like we were just testing each other, you really meant it, and then I also meant it. I mean, and you can see that the fruit of our labors here. That we really do mean what we say, and that's why I really like you and trust you, Bobby, is because I hear what you're saying, and I know that you mean it. And I think you also have a similar feeling towards me as well.
So get out of my head, man. You're saying the same thing. Yeah, exactly. Exactly, man. I couldn't have said it better myself. I'm not even gonna caveat or piggyback off what you said. Yeah, basically it.
And the other thing that you said also, Bobby, is while we were talking, when you were here, is that you had some stuff that you wanted to talk about, like open up, and hopefully this struggle that you and I have faced, and other men that we're going to continue to invite here, men and women, can share, so that hopefully someone out there who's struggling with something similar can capture that and use that towards their good, towards benefit, towards improving themselves. Hmm.
100%, man. Yep, yep. And this is it's a personal growth podcast, right? So it's about personal
Hmm.
growth. And what is growth, man? In my definition, I know it's not in the script, but I'll make it quick. Growth is pain sometimes. It's gonna hurt. It's gonna letting go of old mindsets, letting go of old friends that no longer serve, or quote unquote friends that no longer serve you, relationships that no longer serve you, old habits that were toxic that no longer serve you. That's growth, doing better for you, for the people around you, and honestly for the whole community. I guess for the whole, I guess you can say the human race. But this is the personal growth podcast, and I know this is our first episode, but hopefully I see us within the next year or so. Hopefully, inviting people from all over, um, life circumstances, men or women or whatever, whatever brings to the table, whoever brings to the table, not necessarily just that, So yeah,
Okay.
okay. Well, thank you, Isaac, for your kind words, man. You're always so humble and so nice. But to add to boost your ego a little bit, you're not naive.
Hmm.
I think that there's friends that are friends with you for a reason, and then there's friends that are friends with you just because Isaac, you're not this CEO of whatever, a cleaning company or a boss of this cleaning company. But I'm trying to say, yeah, I'm not just speak. I think you're not
Okay.
naive. I think you're very well aware of the people, so-called, like what you said. Um, but I do think that we're pretty close to each other, man. We have the same mindset, and like you said, we were testing each other, I guess, in that conversation. And yeah, man, I'm not gonna say things I don't mean. So, and I don't think
Thank
you're
you.
gonna say things. I don't think you're gonna say things that you don't mean either. So here we are. Maybe 2 weeks later, we're making our first episode.
Thank you. Excellent. Excellent. Thank you. Thank you really believing in me, and I would look forward to meeting with you and sharing more of my life, and also talking to everyone here. So
Yeah. I think that's it, man. Of course. I think that's it.
yes,
Th- that was the last question. That was the last script on the question, or last question on the script. Thank you, everybody, for my friends and family and colleagues and anybody who hears our podcast, our first episode. I appreciate your support. I can't thank you guys enough for supporting us, my friend and Isaac and us. So, and me.
hmm
I just hopefully there's more every week. I know Isaac is a busy man, so hopefully every Saturday or every Sunday depends on you know when we're not busy, we're gonna have a new episode. Hopefully, guests come in here and give us their thoughts and opinions about their personal growth and self-development journey.
thank you. Uh, yeah, and for myself, everyone out there, again, we started this podcast to really share our life with you, show you that, as men, we struggle, men and women, we struggle, and that there's no shame in that, and that, we'll, it's okay to struggle, as long as you understand that you have to work hard and strive towards a better towards a towards a better reality. And so again, that's the reason we want to share our struggles here with you, and the obstacles that we face, so that you can be encouraged, and so that you can be made aware that there is hope, and that there is a better path out there for all of us.
I couldn't have said it better.